If you're a support worker, support provider, you would know how much freaking documentation is required to remain compliant as a provider. Now, we're hopefully going through our NDIS audit over the next 6 to 12 months. So we have begun our internal audit of all of our documents, and it is a lengthy process. But I thought what I would do is I'm going to share with you what I would recommend. Personal recommendation. If you are an independent support worker, what documents you should have. Now, when I was independent, I just had a service agreement and that was absolutely it. But there are a few other documents that I would highly recommend, and yeah, I'm going to share them with you. So the very first document that I would use is an onboarding form. Now, it's very straightforward, and what this will do, it will give you absolutely all the information that you require to build their service agreement. I'm talking their name, their date of birth, their NDIS number, their plan dates, their plan management details, their representatives, emergency contacts. What else have we got on here? If they have a support coordinator, if they're currently receiving therapies, and if they consent for you to liaise with these therapists. As well as that, it lists their disability, their diagnosis, behavioural concerns, triggers. Is a PBSP in place? Are they willing to share their NDIS plan with you? And their preferred schedule. Now, I have changed my onboarding form so much over the course of the last 3 years, but it works for my business and it gives me all of the information that I need to create all of my other onboarding documentation. Another really important form that I would have, whether you're an independent support worker and a provider, is a consent form. So having consent to collect information from your participants and share information as well. If you are storing information on your laptop, on your Google Drive, on your ShiftCare, whatever platform that is, you need to gain consent. Also consent to collaborate as well. Consent to collaborate with a support coordinator, consent to collaborate with an OT. It is really important that you gain formal consent. Of course, the main one, you need to have a service agreement. This is a non-negotiable. Now, in my service agreement, I have added a specific clause. And what this clause does is it refers to a different document called a service schedule document. Now, this service schedule document, we actually review quarterly. And on our service schedule document, it completely correlates to our service agreement. We state the goals, how we're going to support our participant to achieve these goals, what our supports are, so our schedule, the time, the day, and the support worker. It outlines our support strategies, what we're working towards, our support types, what line items we are using. Now you may be wondering, Roma, why would you add even more documentation? Well, I've been in so many situations where we do not have written proof and consent for what hours we are going to be providing on a regular basis to our participants. And this way, if a participant wants to cease services and not uphold to our termination agreement, then we are covered as a provider. It also means that every quarter, as a minimum, we are reviewing our goals, we are reviewing our strategies, and we are updating. And it keeps our support workers accountable, it keeps us accountable, and it is honestly a game changer in ensuring we are making progress. The last document that I would recommend as, a bare minimum package as an independent support worker is a media release form, a social media form and consent form. Now, you may not need this if you don't intend on sharing your support work online or in brochures or on a website. That's totally fine. It's not for everyone, but I do have a very extensive media release form. It is super annoying to fill out. I always have the conversation in person before I even send the form in a meet and greet, because it's really important that families are aware we have a heavy social media presence. I myself have a heavy social media presence, and there is absolutely no obligation for participants to be involved in any of that. I make it very known, I make it very clear, because people always end up seeing me anyway online, that's what I do. I do a bit of social media, I do TikTok, I advocate, and yeah, if they want to be involved, that's fantastic. I run through this form and the requirements and what that looks like for them. Now, keeping in mind, I have well over 14 documents that I provide families during an onboarding process. It is extensive. There is a lot of documentation, especially if you have staff. you as an employer have an obligation to keep them safe. So as an independent support worker, you definitely don't need that much documentation, but ensuring you've got the basics, making sure you're covered, making sure your families and participants are aware of their consent and privacy, it's really, really important. If you have any questions, send me a message. I'm more than happy to help and share my insight.